Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster, here with critique of a color guard. Just a week or two ago, sent in to me a couple of days ago. So let's get into this. Even before we begin, let's look at some positioning here. Colors harnesses, the sockets should be level. Actually, you could come up a little bit here, American flag bearer, and then obviously organizational flag bearer could come up as well. But you need to carry flags at the same height because you. And as I'm looking here, are you carrying? Is the American flag staff shorter than your other flag staff? It looks like it. If and using the banner that's hanging down, you know, this line right here, it's not exactly well, it doesn't look to be exactly straight, but it's pretty close. And if that's the case, now you know your the American flag looks to be a little twisted. It's not flat to the front, the spade there, and you can tell that with the triangle piece up here at the top of the case. But it, you know, you really need to start out with the spade flat. So when you fall in, that's one of the first things you do. Look up, check your spade, and then you're good to go. Why are your left hands across your body holding the staff? I don't understand that. And then we have the thumb behind grip, which is exactly what the Air Force wants. It's an unfortunate grip, I think, at order, especially with a flag. For the guide-on, not so much, but for the flag, it really should be the thumb in front grip, the strong grip, as the Marine Corps calls it, and organizational bearer, you have the strong grip. So your grips are different. Your left hands are across your body. They shouldn't be. You should be. You should have both left hands down at your sides to be all at order. And that looks to be it. Individual height, body height is a little bit different. However, the waist level, actually almost all four of your waists are they're pretty close to the same. But with the color bearers having the very close to the same waist level height, you have a good opportunity to make sure that both of these harness sockets are level, so that you carry the flag, both flags level. And I'm wondering if this is the case, that your American flag is shorter. Maybe that's why you have that harness socket lower. But the flags need to be the flag staffs need to be the exact same height. You either have the 8.5 foot, the 8-foot staff, or the 9.5 foot staff. Either one. Those are the only two authorized staffs. And so that's a bit strange. I'll have to. Hopefully the clarity of the video improves a little bit there. So let's go ahead. I don't know what that's for. So what was that first command? I heard inspection, and yeah. So you went to inspection arms. That's fine. You need to do that. That's SOP for the drill meet here. That's okay. But what was the first command? I don't know. I don't recognize it. These masks are ridiculous in that they for many reasons, but in this case, the mask is kind of muffling your voice and making the commands a little difficult to hear. Did you call the color guard to attention? I don't know. So I'm going to assume that's what you did. So I'm going to ask you why. Why'd you call the color guard to attention? There's no reason to call the color guard to attention. You were already at attention. When you fall in at attention. So there's The only commands that you give after that are commands to either move or carry colors, something like that. And in this case, it's going to be inspection arms. So that's what you should have done. Now, left guard, you brought your left elbow out to try and snap that rifle up there. Don't do that. Your right elbow, your left elbow stays, but you brought your right elbow out. Sorry, you brought your right elbow out to try and snap that rifle up there. Don't bring it out. That's an exaggerated movement that you don't need to do. Just bring it straight up, and the elbow should travel from your side over as you bring the rifle up to the port position for inspection arms. Both of you did that actually with the elbow. Don't do that. All right. So, and I'm noticing secondary movement here, body movement. With the with going through the inspection procedure. Don't hit the floor. All right, also when you go to order, see this gap here? It takes a long time to create this, but you need to create that muscle memory of bringing the rifle down so that all three toes are aligned, your two toes across there, and then the toe of the butt of the rifle. It takes a while, but you can do it. And then the rifle always needs to be grounded to your shoe. No, sorry guys. All right, that's not the carry technique to bring the colors up. Cutting your left hand away down to the harness socket, it just doesn't make any sense. You can go through all three of the drill and ceremonies manuals, and you cannot find these techniques in there because they don't exist. We don't make things ceremonialer or cooler or whatever we decide might be more awesomer. We follow the manual and we stick to it. So keep that left hand down at the side. When you call carry, you're going to lift the staff up, and at the same time you're going to bring your left hand up to that harness socket and then place the lower ferrule into the socket. So color bearers, try and get that hand slide down to a simultaneous movement. Yeah, that's not. I understand what you're doing. You're raising you've got a slight ceremonial technique in there to when for ceremonial drill we'll bring the staff up to mouth level, and then we'll bring that right hand, we'll let the staff slide through and bring the right hand to mouth level, and then we manipulate the staff. The right hand stays there at mouth level the entire time. We manipulate the staff with the left to get it into the socket there, and that's not a technique that that you should be using here. Also, and I appreciate the forearm being horizontal, but here, American flag bearer, you don't have that horizontal. Both hands need to be at shoulder level so that the whole arm is horizontal. There you go. So this is what it needs to look like. See, my arm is at shoulder level, my fist is at shoulder level, so it's just below the chin. I'm not a huge fan of this technique. I think there's actually a slightly better difference in gripping the staff, just that little bit higher. I think there's a little bit too much staff when you have your hand below chin level there. So anyway, that's my personal preference though, and that's why we do it in ceremonial drill anyway. So you're and you slightly wow, a little bit of stomping going on there, but you slightly increased the tempo as you came up for this left wheel. The Air Force has a tempo range of 100 to 120 steps per minute. So you're going to want to target 110. Practice with the metronome. Get the Loud Metronome app on your phone. If you hook it up to a Bluetooth speaker, it's nice and loud. That's why it's called Loud Metronome app. But if you just want to turn it all the way up, stick it in your back pocket, one of the color bearers, and then just have that constant beat, 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 beat going, and you can step, 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 step. Heel strikes on every tone. And I've got more information at my website on how to use the tones. So you've got a platform. The platform is the ball of the foot and everything forward. So you've got a platform stomp here, and you really you really don't have to have that. And it actually looks like there might be a whole foot technique going on in there. But what I want to stress to you is that you need to use your glute muscles, your butt muscles. You need to use all of your thigh muscles, even your core, to raise and lower. It's not just raising the leg, it's actually lowering the leg as well. So incorporate all of those muscles to ensure that you have an even raise and lower of both legs, so that you're not stomping and see how there's a kind of a U shape here. So both color bearers are going ahead of the guards. You need to have that straight line here. Plus also left guard, you should have taken it's left wheel, march, and then you take the extra right step, and then that first step is a marked time. But you kept moving forward. The whole team moved forward 2 steps after the command, when it should have only moved forward 1 step, and then that first marked time step is in place with the left foot as the team moves around. Now that first marked time step is just for the left guard. Everybody else is starting to move slightly forward and then into that wheel. So there's a technique issue that you have there. Okay, so there's no such thing as left sling. You can't just bring the rifle forward. Also, this technique here, excuse me, the technique of having the rifle almost directly in front of you with the sling facing back or all kind of up, that's not the technique either. So you need to look at since the guards are at the outside shoulder, and thank you, by the way, guards, for going to the outside shoulder. That's the Air Force technique. That was well done there. Since you go to the outside shoulder, you need to go to the Marine Corps order 5060.20 and then look at the technique that's specifically laid out with photos, and match that technique of bringing the bringing the rifle from the shoulder to port, and then place it here in the cradle of the right elbow, and then manipulating. Oh, I apologize. So, and then manipulating the sling. So left guard, you could come across. Now, since we're at the opposite shoulder, we use the Marine Corps order, but you also need to understand that sling from shoulder isn't a thing. We don't do that. In the military, we don't do it. It's only from the position of order arms. So, and I don't recommend necessarily going to order and then up. You can, I mean, that's technically how it should be. However, if the and guards, you need to look at the pauses that the Marine Corps order states, but left guard, you're going to reach across first, and then both of you bring the rifle to port, and then you place it into the cradle, and then you manipulate the sling, and then come back to whichever shoulder that you have that you came from. Oh well, actually, you're at sling arm, so you're gonna sling the rifle. Oh, don't go to left sling. No. Okay. Okay. Even though you're at left shoulder, left guard, there is, and here, look at the opposite technique that you have here. This hand doesn't belong down here. There's everything's wrong here. Start over. Okay, your sling technique is backwards. Well, backwards for the left guard. There is no such thing as left sling. You don't bring the rifle out to the left side. You bring it to the right side. You sling arms only on the right side. This is not the technique. What are you? Sorry. I try not to let emotion get the best of me here. This is all right. So what you do is you don't. Let me go back to here. There. What was that command? The command is supposed to be post. So and when you post, let's go back. When you post, yeah. When the guards post, you have to call that command first, because we're going from the Army technique, the Army sequence of this whole uncase and case colors sequence here. It's the Army developed it. We have to follow the Army's procedures. So it's a face-in march for the guards to step out. Once they step out, they turn around, and then you say uncase colors. And when you come to uncase colors, you need to come to the guide-on position for the Air Force. All right? The Army position's up here, which is kind of strange, but at least the Air Force is semi intelligent as far as this goes. So you bring the staff out, and then you lower it, and see my left hand is here, and then you drop your left arm. Now, I understand that the flag staff, along with the furled flag and the case, that gets pretty heavy. So what I recommend is you pull the staff in like you did, except when you lower it, then you keep your left hand up, so that I don't want to smack anything in here. All right, so I brought the staff forward horizontal, but I'm gonna hit things in here. So you bring the staff forward horizontal, and then there we go. Then what you're going to do is slide the staff back so that you have the staff horizontal. Your right hand is right next to your chest, and then your left hand is in front. There's a very good reason why you have to have both hands on here, in that you are going to furl and unfurl using both hands. So you have to keep your hands there. Guards, you need to be more synchronized. You need to have your hands doing exactly the same thing each time. So, and I was busy watching the guards there. So see, your left hands are down there, color bearers, and then you bring them up and at at whatever time. So you should have your hands up there at the same time. So after you unfurl the flag, then you take that right arm. Well, I won't grab the staff. You take your right hand, bring the staff up while the left hand goes to the socket, and you come to carry. You don't go to order. The flag goes to carry, not order as you had it. And then so you don't. Okay, so you missed the present arms. So guards, you're supposed to stay there. You're supposed to fold the cases. The case then is held in your left hand. You cut your hands away to the left comes to at your side at attention, and then your right comes to the sling arms position, and then the command present arms is given. You come across, grab your sling, salute, order arms, drop the salute, come back up, drop the left hand. Commander says post. You two go back, and now is when you execute your sequence to tuck in the cases. So you're missing rendering honors to the American flag. Don't look down at the ground. The command is not unsling arms. Unsling arms means to actually bring the rifle out and then bring it down to order with a loose sling. It's tight. The command is tighten slings, but you don't give that command. The guards come back into position, and they automatically go into that procedure to tighten the slings to what the Marine Corps calls a parade sling. And I just wanted to point out here, both of you are bending the knee. That's not the technique. So you have where your leg bends at your at the top of your thigh. That's the bottom of your hip. That's not where the rifle goes. It's just off camera. If I stand up here, right here, this is the bottom of my thigh, right here, or the top of my thigh, the bottom of my hip. This is my hip bone. Right here is my hip bone. So when I place the rifle at my side, it's on the hip bone, or actually right below the belt, the web belt that you're wearing. It should be just at the top of your hip bone. That's where you place the rifle, not down lower so that you have to bend your legs so that you keep it from slipping out. So make sure that you pull that rifle up. There's a lot of technique that you gotta. So see how the technique was off a little bit. So again, since we're at the outside shoulder, we need to go to the Marine Corps order, which tells us that the left guard reaches across first. So the count is 1. Both of you go to 2 at the same time, and then 3. Everything works just fine. And then carry colors, well, order. And then both of you take 3 counts to go to the outside shoulder. The Marine Corps calls it the outboard shoulder, but you're both have the fingers wrapped around the small of the stock. That's good. Make sure all of your fingers are together, and then you're both thumbing a ride. Apparently you need a ride after the competition. Wrap the thumb around. This is not the technique right here. This is the technique to wrap it around. Also, your pinky, see the silver right here? This is called the upper receiver. No matter what rifle, you have an upper receiver. So the pinky needs to be right there at the upper receiver. It's called the hand is now at the balance of the rifle. So with the pinky at the upper receiver, even at present, it's at the same level, exact same thing, just a slightly different location. You're going to wrap the thumb around, not have your thumb pointing up. Wrap it around the stock there, the handguard. Okay.
AFJROTC Colonial from South Carolina. Respectfully requested.
All right. So you're belting out these words and you don't even know what you're saying. You're just trying to get it out as quickly as possible. Don't do that. You need to write out exactly what you're going to say. Everything. This might sound silly to you, but it's going to help you because you're going to write it out. You're going to think about it as you're writing it out. And then as you're writing it, you're also going to read it. As you're reading it, you're going to understand it. And then, so this is multiple ways to get this ingrained into your mind. And then what you need to do is practice the whole speech. You're giving a little speech, a report in, sir. And then you go on into whatever technique it is. And actually, I have a sample, what to say and when to say it, on my website. The what to say and when to say it is the title of the article. So there's an example there of a report in, report out type of speech. So as you do this, don't try and get it out as fast as possible. You're tripping over yourself. Your tongue and your teeth aren't working together. You don't sound clear. The mask is not helping things at all. But what you need to do is you need to enunciate these words. Sir, Sergeant Marshal, request permission to, and just delineate all of these words. Delineate means to have separation. You need to finish each one of these words as you're belting them out, really. This is not colors reverse. Not colors reverse at all. So go to my website again, look at the article, how to execute colors reverse. And honestly, the cases are very messy. Having the strings down, and they're not even. It doesn't look like they're the same. No, they're not. They're not tucked the same. So that you need to work out a much better presentation so that the strings aren't hanging down and so that it's just not placed there in the belt. It needs to look much better than that. Folded over so that it drapes well, and so that it's squared off on the bottom, squared off on the top. What you have here, see this, you have a little tiny point, but it's at the rear of the case. You have this gigantic point, but it's at the front of the, front, rear, however we want to describe that. The point is on the opposite side. I'll just put it that way. And it could be much cleaner. So look at your spacing. I've noticed this. Guards, you have a little bit too big of a spacing here. Here, spacing looks really good, and same here as well. But throughout so far, both of the color bearers have had larger spacing. So make sure forward, march, step, have that right foot is still that mark time step. When you step forward, it needs to be a 24-inch step. It doesn't look like you're executing that 24-inch step. And then see here, the spacing increased greatly, spacing decreased greatly with the left guard. So I want to go. I know I'm taking forever on this. I apologize, but there's lots of things to talk about here. So one thing, you're lacking momentum at the end of this wheel. Watch. Forward, hard step, go. Now, if you notice the left guard's foot, here's the floor. The left guard's foot comes out and then back and then finally grips and pulls the left guard forward. Now, I don't know if everybody else did that, but the left guard here is lacking momentum and is relying on the foot to grab the surface to pull her, I believe it's her, pull her forward. So that's not what you want. You want to push forward from the right foot. As you take that last mark time step, you on the mark time, your toe strikes first and leaves last. So as that right foot, the last right foot in mark time, strikes the deck, the toe is going to strike and then the heel is going to rest. As soon as the heel comes to rest, you're going to push down with that right heel and propel yourself forward, create that forward momentum so that you don't have the foot grasping for some grip to pull you forward. Yeah, a little bit of a stomp there. And it takes a couple of steps for the team to not bad on that wheel. A little bit of sacking and weaving. See how the foot reacted there? Yeah, there's a. I'm not going to go into detail on explaining what has to happen there. It's long and involved. Yeah. Your state colors staff, is the same height. Okay. All right. Oh, good. Thank you so much for not pushing the flags forward. I don't know how many teams do that. Good job. All right, and I just wanted to mention you have proper equipment, proper staffs, the guide-on staff with the silver accoutrements there, and then your American flag and your state flag have fringe. There's, as far as the Air Force is concerned, they're supposed to have fringe. There's a big fringe issue that is really, it goes against the flag code, but you know that's what the Army and the Air Force do. Everybody else doesn't have fringe on the national or state flags, actually. So again, grips, you're going to the strong grip, and you shouldn't. You should have the same grip as the guards, that U or V grip. And make sure, guards, I've noticed it a couple of times when you've gone to order, make sure, guards, that you don't have even one finger wrapped in front of the handguard as you're at order. When you're at order, your fingers need to be extended and joined at an angle downward, your thumb wrapped around, but on the side of the rifle. Fingers at the side of the rifle, not wrapped in the front. So good job on this. Going to parade rest. No. I don't understand why you're bringing the left arm across. That doesn't make sense. All right, so many Air Force teams don't realize that they should be doing this. So I'll let you know. When the commander is part of a small group, like a flag detail or a color guard, or even a parade command detail, the commander does not go to attention to call the group to attention. You're going to stay at parade rest because you're in the detail, you're in the formation, I shouldn't say detail. You're in the formation so that you need to look the same as everybody else in the formation. So stay at parade rest, call the team to attention, you come to attention, commander, you come to attention with the rest of the team. So yeah, very different techniques used there. You're coming across with that left, you're on the command carry, you're bringing the left over to the socket. That's not the technique, but you're doing different things there. I don't know if I saw a left foot slip there or not. You know, with the left foot trying to get the grip of the floor. I'm so glad that you're not swinging your arms. Awesome. Now, okay, so one thing I want to, I know, I do this all the time. Now, watch the left hand on the mark time. Watch the left hand of the commander right here. See how it comes up with the thigh. Okay, so when you march with suspended arm swing, that's what this is called. No arm swing is marching with suspended arm swing. So your arm is suspended in midair. It doesn't follow any movement of the thigh. So we have our thumb along the seam of the trouser leg, but the thumb doesn't move back and forth as we're marching and doesn't move up and down as we're marking time. So that's what you're doing here. What the thigh needs to move independently of the fist. So if I have my fist here and this is my trouser leg seam, my hand, my fingers are the trouser leg seam, I'm going to march back and forth. It's not going to be a huge distance here, but the leg is going to move back and forth, the trouser seam moves back and forth, and I'm going to feel the material of my trousers moving along my knuckles. All right, and then I'm going to feel the same thing when I'm marking time. So your hand has to stay exactly there. Your whole arm is locked in place. Now, I don't mean locked as in hyperextending the joint. I mean you have that natural bend in your elbow, and then you have your hand, your whole arm locked in that position so that it doesn't move. That's what I mean by locked, so that it doesn't move, and then you execute your movements. See how that hand is moving up and down and then slightly back and forth? Not supposed to happen, but you're marching with suspended arm swing. That's fantastic. So instead of the South Carolina flag, you really should be marching the Air Force JROTC organizational. I know we carry, so single count is when you, all right, so single count, eyes right, pop. You need to pop that flag out. It's kind of a drag, but that's regulation drill. The only one who does not turn their head to the right is the right rifle guard. Everybody else turns their head to the right. That's the Army and the Air Force technique, and now Space Force. But everybody else, the other three, this is a type of salute, and I agree with the Marine Corps on this. The color guard commander does not turn their head to the right because it is a salute, a type of salute. Anyway, so Army and Air Force, though, you're going to turn that head 45. Well, Air Force, you're going to turn the head 45 degrees to the right, and so commander, you have to do that. Also, I've noticed here you have a slight angle forward, which is good, commander. Army and Air Force do that, and Space Force. So everybody else is going to be straight up and down. So good on that angle forward. South Carolina flag, when you come back to carry, you need to match that angle as well. Always match your angles to the right. And I'll explain. The reason why most JROTCs carry the state flag is because the departmental flag is not supposed to dip. Well, actually, and it depends on what the organizational flag is. Organizational flags don't dip. except on very specific instances. That's why we don't carry the Air Force flag, for instance, in a competition, because it's not supposed to just randomly dip. However, in this instance, you're going through procedures and not through a ceremony. So I could see carrying the departmental. Yep. The momentum's not there to propel the team forward, and you're creeping. See how you're creeping forward there after that left wheel. Let's go back just a bit. There we go. Watch how the team doesn't stay in place on that marked time. You're not coming around on a wheel and staying in place, left guard. The team is pushing you forward when actually you're supposed to be dressing left on that left wheel, so that everybody stays aligned with the left guard. Left guard, you need to mark time in place and rotate in place, but watch as the team mark times and creeps forward. And wow, and you're even creeping forward throughout the whole left wheel, so you're carrying the team forward. The more the left guard moves, even in a slight arc, the right guard has to go way out there and take very large steps, and the opposite is true. So you've got to stay in place. But see, marching forward, but just a little bit. So and see, you're going way forward. So, and I know you have practiced this to where you move the whole team forward and come around so that you're now centered. You've got to plan this better now, because you're taking several steps forward, coming like this for a wheel, and then finally executing your wheel to where you're centered. So your visual memory has to completely change here, so that you give that left wheel on 2 consecutive left steps, take 1 more right step forward, and then no movement forward by the left guard, just rotation in place on that specific spot, so that right now you're centered here by going like this. But what you have to do, if you call it early enough, you're gonna pivot like this, and you won't be centered. So you have to call it a little later, and then pivot over to be centered on your judge. So it's going to take some practice. Relearn that visual memory. It's just like muscle memory. No. Okay, so you fell out. You fall out. You don't do anything. Guards, you can about face. The only thing that you can about face if you want. There is no technique to fall out. The about face and taking a step off, or taking a step back and then about face, all that's made up. That comes from military academies, that comes from units that create things. There is nothing in any of the manuals that says this is how you fall out, and goes through specific, you must take 1 left step to the rear, come to attention, and then take your nothing. It's just walk away, move away from the formation. Now, the restriction for color guard is that you never execute about face or to the rear. Never. This includes when you fall out. It's never do you do it. In formation or out of formation, you never execute about face or to the rear. So that's your guidance. So if you feel it necessary that you need to do this, guards execute about face. colors, you execute right face, because if you execute left face, then the American flag is in the inferior position, and we don't want that. You can only face to the right to column formation from line formation. All right, so only 45 minutes. Boy, I'm sorry, but there was a lot of information to get to you. So I hope this has been helpful. I really do. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you.